What is up, guys? Welcome back. This is going to be part number 3 of the series that I have started a while back about things that I wish I knew before buying a motorcycle. The first part, I talked about the financial aspect of it all. The second part, we talked about the actual skill that it requires to ride a motorcycle. And on part number 3 today, we're going to talk about the preparation that it takes to actually ride a motorcycle. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't think about. I personally did not think about this when I got on my motorcycle and did not even realize that I had to take into consideration so many of these things when you have a motorcycle. Now, what do I mean by preparation? Well, basically, what I mean by that is that whenever you're going to use a motorcycle to go somewhere, you cannot just simply hop on the bike and go to that place just like if you would if it was a car, right? If it was a car, you got to, run to the store real quick or go to your buddy's house or maybe, go to the job or whatever. What do? You just hop on there, you go to the place that you need to go, and that's pretty much it. You don't really need to think about anything else. When you're on a motorcycle, it's completely different. And what do I mean by that? Well, first things first, you got to check the weather. You need to check the weather every single time that you are on a motorcycle. Why? Because it might severely impact the way that you ride the motorcycle that morning, or it might severely impact the safety conditions of even being in a motorcycle in the first place. So if it's like very rainy, if it's windy or something like that, guess what? You're not going to want to be on a motorcycle because you are going to be exposed to the elements. That is something that you need to take into consideration. And even on nice days like this, like for example, like if let's say that you wake up and it's like 45 degrees outside, which is completely fine, otherwise you wouldn't really think much about it. When you hop on the bike and you actually start going, it's gonna feel much colder than 45 degrees. It can feel anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees colder than it actually is. Same thing with a day like this. It's probably like 85 degrees outside, but guess what? I'm wearing an all leather suit, leather jacket, leather pants, leather gloves, and I have boots on. What does that mean? That when I'm on the bike and I'm outside in this nice weather, it actually feels like it's 100 and something degrees, actually. Like it feels really, really hot when you're wearing an all leather suit. So these are the things that you got to take into consideration when you're going to go somewhere on a motorcycle. The weather is going to be number one. Number two, and kind of like on the same topic about what you're wearing, it's going to be the fact that you might need to consider that every time that you use your bike, you might actually need a change of clothes when you actually get to the place where you're trying to go. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's go on a ride, actually, so I can talk about this as I'm going. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But what do I mean by that? Let's say that you need to commute to your job every single morning. What does that mean? That you need to consider one of two options. One, you either wear your safety gear over your work clothes, which might or might not be possible, because if you're somebody that needs to work with like a suit on or whatever, hey, you're not going to be able to do that. Or you're going to need to have to carry a change of clothes with you every single time that you get on the bike. And that could be something that is very annoying. Like imagine that every single time that you hop on the bike to go to your workplace, now you need to consider that as soon as you get to your job, now you have to change your clothes too. And then you have to store your gear somewhere. That's another thing. You're going to be carrying all your gear with you every single time that you are outside and you go out. You are going to be that person that you have to carry around your helmet, your jacket, or whatever you're wearing with you. And that could be something that's a little bit of something that's annoying to do. Like I've gone out to dinners and to movies and stuff like that, and I always got to be carrying my helmet with me and stuff. I can keep my same clothes on, but I need to carry my helmet. And if I'm not going to carry it in my hand, now option number 2 comes in, which is you need to carry it in your backpack, which now means that everywhere you go, you need to carry a backpack with you so that you can store your helmet and you can put all the things that you need to carry with you when you're on the bike. Or you might need that backpack for that change of clothes that I was talking about earlier. Store your clothes in there, then you get to your job or wherever you're going, change clothes, and then you go ahead and you store your gear in your backpack. Or you can go with the third option, which is opting for maybe like some saddlebags on your bike or whatever. But that's going to be a lot more expensive, especially if you get some that are very, very secure. That's going to be a lot more expensive, so that you can actually get some high quality stuff that's not going to be stolen, and that can be locked, and it's going to be attached to your bike, and nobody can just remove it and take it off. You know, that's going to be an investment. Now you got to think about, okay, I got to attach these things to my bike, and it's going to cost like $100 to $300, and that's what I'm going to be using for storage every single time that I go out. Or I'm just going to have to carry all my stuff with me every single time. So this is something that could be annoying, and if you don't want to deal with that, it's going to require some type of preparation with the things that you're going to carry, how you're going to carry those things, and when you're going to opt to even carry those things in the first place, because you cannot just simply just throw them on the passenger seat or throw them in the trunk of your vehicle or something like that, because the motorcycle just doesn't have those things. So it becomes a dilemma of, okay, I need to check the weather, and depending on the weather, I gotta check whether I'm gonna use my bike or not, and depending on the weather, I gotta check what type of clothes I'm gonna be wearing for that day. And if I gotta wear this type of clothes and gear, that means I might have to bring a change of clothes, which means I also have to take something that can store these things, so I don't need to carry them with me all day, which means I'm either gonna have a bag on my motorcycle, or I'm gonna have to carry a backpack with me every single time that I'm on the bike. So, like, these are all things that could be pretty annoying, and these are all things that you need to take into consideration if you are going to be using a motorcycle, especially for commuting, because it's not the same thing to just, you know, use your bike on the weekends and not have to carry anything when you use the bike. But if you use the bike often and you actually use it for commuting, to go to your job, to go to places that where you need to go, you need to take all these things into consideration, because they are real world problems that you're going to deal with literally every single day, and it could get really, really annoying. I put it on neutral like a fucking imbecile. It happens to the best of us. But anyways, as I was saying, these are all things that you got to think about, and you might even get high quality gear like I'm wearing, but realize that even high quality gear doesn't protect you from all weather conditions. Like, just because I have leathers on doesn't mean that I'm gonna feel very comfortable when I have my leathers. You are gonna want to take them off. You know, you might be like, okay, you know, I'm wearing high quality riding gear. As soon as you get off, you're like, okay, I want to take this thing off because it's super hot, it's sticky, and it's uncomfortable to wear these leather gear with you. Like, it's super annoying. It's super annoying. Or if you get some other type of gear, now you got to deal with the fact that, okay, this other type of gear is just simply not going to be as safe as the leathers, and now you're going to have to deal with that trade-off. It's like, okay, do I wear something more comfortable that has less protection, or do I wear something that's going to be a lot less comfortable and a lot more expensive, but I'm going to be a lot safer if I were to get to an actual accident? And how easy is this to put on? How easy is this to take off? Because, for example, when I put on leather pants and a leather jacket, that's not as easy to put on as like a regular, you know, padded jeans, or like a regular hoodie that's armored or something like that. It's completely different. It's a completely different ball game. In fact, I put on a one-piece suit the other day, and it literally took me like 10 minutes to put it on. Like, that sucks. Like, imagine now you gotta deal with, oh my god, like, I gotta put on this thing for 10 minutes. Obviously, that's not gonna be the most of you. Most of you are not gonna have a one-piece leather suit that you're gonna be using. That's mostly like if you're gonna do things at the track or at the twisties and stuff like that. That's a completely different topic. But realize that all of these things are a major inconvenience. The weather, the way that you store things, the way that you carry things, what you're going to be wearing for that specific day, how the things that you're going to be wearing are going to affect how you're going to feel when you're on the motorcycle, how uncomfortable you're going to be, the fact that you're going to have to carry all of your gear with you if you don't have a lot of storage. If you can't leave things on your bike because you can't secure them on the bike, you might have to carry your helmet everywhere you go, or you might have to invest in a really good quality backpack that can carry all your stuff. And now every time that you get on the bike, you're gonna have to carry that backpack with you every single time, everywhere that you go. Like, it's little things like that that you need to think about if you're gonna be using it for commuting, because it can get very annoying, and it can get pretty expensive depending on what route you go in terms of like storage and gear and stuff like that. So those are just some things to consider, and there's a lot more things that I could talk about, but I think those are kind of like the major preparation things that you need to take into consideration. You know, the weather, your clothing, and your storage. Those are really the three big heavy hitters when it comes to owning a motorcycle, and things that everybody's gonna have to deal with if you use a motorcycle for commuting. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to say. If you guys can think of other things that I missed, please comment them down below. And yeah, thanks for listening. Peace.